Hello again, everyone, and here is a lesson on postmodernism in music. You see here a work of postmodernist art. Um, it's hard to define it. This particular piece of art has a lot of disparate objects creating a collage effect. Um, we're going to be seeing this sort of effect in music of postmodernist composers. In order to understand postmodernism, we need to know what modernism is. Modernism is the idea in art or in music where uh, the music progresses, the styles progress. Uh, Composers are coming up with new styles, new ideas. Music is always progressing and changing, and it can't go back to previous styles. Postmodernism then rejects that idea, saying that these styles of the past are just as valid as the styles of the present. These might even be combined together. So postmodernism is just a way of breaking free of this need to leave the past behind and always move forward. So if you're a composer and you're a postmodernist type of composer, then you can look at the music of the past and juxtapose that music with modern styles in the same piece, creating this sort of a collage effect. So one of the ways you do this, if you're creating a collage, you're just cutting out maybe scraps from different magazines and putting them together to create a collage. In music, you would do that by cutting out scraps of music from compositions of the past and putting them together and creating a collage of direct quotations of other composers. So this is one approach postmodernist composers are taking, and a notable piece that did this is Luciano Berio's Sinfonia. He quotes a lot of famous pieces by Debussy and Mahler and Ravel and Berlioz and Stravinsky and Strauss and Berg and Beethoven and Boulez and Stockhausen, and he puts all of these quotations together into a collage that has it as its backbone one of the movements from Mahler's Resurrection Symphony. Okay, so I want to give you a sense of this quotation effect. So pause the video here and go to the quiz and listen to the example from first of all the Mahler movement, and then Berio's Sinfonia to see what he does with these quotations. All right, the next composer I want to look at is Alfred Schnittke from the Soviet Union. He developed this style that we call polystylism. It's not really a style, it's many styles all combined together and in very unpredictable ways. So he can use blues and jazz styles, and then he might be using 12-tone music and then romantic music, and it's all kind of juxtaposed in startling ways. So first of all, the Concerto Grosso that he wrote in '76 sounds sometimes like Vivaldi or sometimes like classical galant music, sometimes 12-tone, sometimes a popular hymn-like style. These all are simply juxtaposed without any attempt to really connect those styles. But it's fascinating to listen to. And he does the same thing as well in his first symphony. Okay, pause the video again, and you're going to listen to some examples from these pieces. And welcome back. The next composer I want to look at is John Corigliano. He is an American composer who uses, again, many different styles from different time periods, including modern avant-garde music, but also past Baroque and classical styles. based on whatever effect he needs. In an opera that he wrote called The Ghosts of Versailles, you sometimes have a tonal serial music, and that's for the characters of the present that are watching this opera. There's this sort of an opera within the opera, and the characters within the opera are performing music that sounds more like Mozart or Rossini. So these two styles, the past and the present, are juxtaposed constantly as you see the external opera and the internal opera. Hopefully that'll make more sense as you watch it. Also, you're going to see some clips from a movie called The Red Violin that he did the soundtrack for. And it's about a violin and its history and how it passes from one performer to another over centuries. And it shows the styles of music that are played on that single violin as it progresses from era to era. Okay, pause the video again, and we're going to watch some clips from these pieces by John Corigliano, and then come back to the video. Okay, the last element of postmodernism that I want to look at is incorporating into the art or the music elements of popular music or popular culture. Think, for instance, of the pop art style of Andy Warhol. It's bringing popular culture into the art world. So some composers chose to connect with their listeners by incorporating these elements from popular culture or popular music. One of these is Michael Dougherty. He has modernist principles in his music, but also elements of popular music, and he has pop culture figures like Superman and Jackie Onassis, and really interesting ideas like Niagara Falls, UFOs, and time machines as the basis of his compositions. Okay, pause the video really quick and watch the examples by Michael Dougherty, and then come back one more time to this video. Okay, welcome back again. We have one more composer to look at, and that's John Zorn. He's a composer and performer that's sort of hard to define. You see that he can cross between the genres of jazz, rock, classical, surf music, metal, soundtracks, ambient music. All of these boundaries are easier and easier for musicians to cross now in the postmodern era. So his music illustrates these many directions, and it's hard to pinpoint him with a style, so to speak. And that's the general idea of postmodernism, is that it can involve any combination of things. There's really no limit. Okay, so pause the video one more time. Well, you don't have to pause it. This is the end of the video. Go back to the quiz and do the last question, and that's our unit on postmodernism. Hope you enjoyed.